So you're sort of alluding to talent here too, and I'm wondering, AJ, from your standpoint, you've created a unique culture. You've brought a great investor on. When you're building your team, what are some of the qualities you're looking for? What are important to you to fit into this mission, to fit into this vision of where the company's going, and how do you select those people?
That's a really interesting question because the way that we do approach talent is quite different. For one thing, we're a post-COVID startup, and as many post-COVID startups, we are fully remote. We do have an office here in Atlanta, and we have some of our team members here. But our philosophy when it comes to recruitment has always been, let's find the absolute best person for this role wherever they live. And so, for example, our head of product lives in Australia. And there's some pros and cons as far as the time zone goes, but he is a one-of-a-kind individual that has driven for the product mission in a way that I don't believe anyone else would have. And so, and that's just one example of it's nice. We actually have a team now. We're about to have 4 people here in Atlanta, and which is kind of cool to be able to sort of meet and see each other in person. But the number one thing has always been who is the best person, and so I think that's a huge part of our culture is that meritocracy of we've selected you because we believe you're the best person for this job, and if you are going to be part of this team, you're expected to maintain that and maintain that standard. The other side of it is the type of people that we've brought in that I've prioritized bringing in, especially from a leadership standpoint, is other people with entrepreneurial talents. And one of the things that I put a lot of thought into going back a couple of years ago when I started thinking about how big of an opportunity ProLine could be and who to bring in was how do I bring in other people that have entrepreneurial talent so that it's not just falling back on me and my co-founder, so that because you need that entrepreneurial talent to build out every department, and the more of it you have, the more successful overall the organization can be. But the thing is, those people are rare, extremely talented, and they have lots of options. So the 2 things I've focused on is bringing in key leadership and giving them a large or larger than normal stake of the business. And I've been okay with letting my stake be smaller in exchange for having more members of the team that have that ownership stake in the business. And then the other side of it is, James is over here, so maybe he can verify this. But I do my best to avoid this being about me. And I think that's one of the biggest things I see go wrong in startups is when they start to hit this size is the founder has trouble letting go of the limelight and letting other people be in the limelight. Limelight's always nice, but my focus is always on what is going to be the best for the business. It's going to be best for our customers, going to be best for the stakeholders, the investors, the overall success of the organization. And that's always been very clear to me that it requires a lot of people that are have their time in the limelight, because you can't build something great. No matter how talented you are, one person just can't do it, can't pull off the size of the vision, the goal that we're working towards is too big for one person or even 2 people or even 3. I mean, we need to have that team. So we've built an amazing leadership team over the last year and a half. Across product, across sales and marketing, across customer success, product management. We have this absolute rockstar team that I'm very proud of. And a huge part of my day is how do I hand off a piece of the limelight to them? How do I hand off that responsibility to them? Take myself out of being a limiter, because there's only so much time in the day. And so I think that's how I think about it.
It's a great way to look at it. And Travis, from your standpoint, now you're an investor. There's some governance, there are board meetings and the like. How do you communicate messaging there? Because it's clearly with a light touch, but it's also, you have a unique rapport with AJ. It's very clear. But is it through board meetings? Is it through daily phone calls? How often do you have that communication? And how do you do it in a way that's in a friendly sort of a suggested and helpful way as opposed to maybe a dogmatic way?
Yeah, so in our third fund, we have 3 companies so far. So ProLine's the third. And when on like Thursdays and Fridays, we basically have standing calls with the teams we work with. So we at least talk once a week on the initial months after we make an investment. And generally those conversations are like based on the priorities that we have to deal with. So like, if we're trying to recruit a certain person or talk about like the vision or deal with an issue, whatever, we'll have some prioritization around those conversations, but we sync up at least weekly. And as the relationship kind of like builds from there, it goes to like once every 2 weeks, but we're still like texting in between and stuff. But the point is, John, is like we're definitely like not going like quarterly board meetings. We're definitely staying in touch.
Yeah, those too, but
and like I was at the self-storage trade show with the Swivel team, walking the floor, trying to see who's in market there, what are the other companies selling and stuff like that. It's helpful for us to kind of like be in the field with you from time to time, and that helps us understand kind of like the positioning and what we need to do. Again, back from that operating point of view, it's like, how can we add value? We can add value in ways that other firms might not be able to, around experience, around like market positioning, product marketing, go-to-market strategies. How do we deal with the strategic issues of like what we build next? Certainly in the roofing space, we've got competition for sure. Some more established players. We're trying to be new and innovative and different. But these are going to be like weekly conversations to figure out this journey together, which is cool.
Yep, which I'm very excited about because I have ideas. I always have lots of ideas, but also this is technically my first time doing this. So I'm really excited to have you guys there, being able to sort of check the things that the initiatives, the directions, and the everything that the decision that I'm making, because I found that to be key. Is like I always want to have a second opinion from someone that's been there when I'm making, especially the bigger decisions, and so I'm excited for that.
So what's really special is the relationship that you can tell just through this conversation here between investor and entrepreneur, founder, and we're both co-founders of your respective organizations. But it's we tell our clients oftentimes, listen, you got to be very careful in selecting an investor. It's easier, not do you want to, but it's easier to divorce your spouse than it is to divorce your investor. Yeah. And so it's pretty unique to see the kind of relationship that two of you have and that you're building over time. And I think it's largely as a result of the understanding of the nature of the business, but also, AJ, in your case, you've been doing this for a while. It may be your first gig, but you've been around with the business and you understand the business. And Travis, from your perspective, it shows a lot of insight and wanting to be there, understand the industry better, and to help the company build. So it's a special relationship you can tell through the discussions here. And I suspect when we do this again in a year, it's going to even be a more special relationship with an even faster growing company.